Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley. Today I'm here with
Easton D'Amelia.
Easton. We got a big day here. You're going to be on your way to Oklahoma City today,
I am
correct?
indeed. Yeah, I'm going to watch the basketball game, the NBA playoffs. So never experienced the NBA game. Now I get to experience the best kind of basketball.
I've only been to one ever, and it was before a Broncos game when I was like 12, and it was Nuggets and Magic, and it was when Nikola Jokic was pretty early on into his career.
Okay.
So I saw him before his
Early glimpses.
Yeah, before his true stardom, and it was pretty cool. I'll always remember that game. Let's go ahead with what we're doing today. The Class 4 scores from last week. Savannah, a really impressive win over Benton, 11-0. Logan Rogersville, a good win against Willard, 2-1. Blair Oaks, wow, what a game, 13-10 against Rockbridge. I'm sure you'll talk about that a little bit because you were at that game. Nevada, they beat Clinton in the playoffs 10-1. Fulton, a pitcher's duel. They win 2-1 against Southern Boone. And another pitcher's duel, Boonville, they beat Mexico 2-0.
Yeah, that Blair Oaks Rockbridge game was maybe one of the craziest games I've ever been to. When you score 9 at the top of the inning, you expect to run away with it. Instead, Blair Oaks responded with another 9-run inning themselves and was able to beat Rockbridge, who's a team that we both think really highly of. Blair Oaks is turning up at the right time. Fulton, Southern Boone, a great game, a pitcher's duel. I think the Fulton pitcher went 6 1/3, and then Braden Beckman only went 6. So you had two starting pitchers that went almost the entire game, but Fulton's able to take it on top.
So the Class 4 games this week. Excelsior Springs and Father Tolton, those two are tonight. Moberly tomorrow. And on the 27th, we got a few sectional games. Blair Oaks, MICDS, and Seneca. Excelsior Springs versus Benton is for a district championship tonight. I will go with Benton here. I'll keep riding with them. They're scoring 7.1 runs a game, and they're 8-6 against Excelsior Springs since 2011.
I'm going to use my Uno reverse card. I took Excelsior Springs earlier to win the district, but the Benton Cardinals are hot, and there's no other way to put it. They did lose a game to Savannah, but they had a great stretch, and I know they'll have their number one on the mound, so I'm very confident in the Benton Cardinals when he's on the mound.
Father Tolton versus Fulton. This one is in Ashland at Southern Boone, for people that don't know. I'm going to go with Father Tolton here. I initially took him in the district, so I'll keep going with him. They're scoring 9 runs a game, and this is a pretty even matchup. It's a solid rivalry. They're 2-2 against each other since 2015.
Yeah, I'm going to take Fulton in this one. I know both teams use their number one, so you're going to see your number 2, possibly number 3 as the game goes along, and I think that really favors the Fulton Hornets.
Moberly versus Boonville. I'm hoping to go to this one. I don't know if they will book me, but there's not very many games on Friday. There's only 12, I believe, so I might not even get booked, which would suck because I've only missed a few Fridays so far this whole entire year. Since August, I missed like 4 or 5 Fridays. So I'd rather not sit at home this Friday. I hope they end up booking me. We'll see, though. I will go with Moberly. They're scoring 6.9 runs a game. They're allowing 1.8. I feel like they're rolling right now. They should win this district championship.
Yeah, I will take Moberly as well, even though after this they're going to have a very tough game on whoever wins that between Fulton and Tolton. But I'm very excited to see what they can do, and I think they're able to take it.
Blair Oaks versus Nevada is a sectional matchup. These two teams met last year, and Blair Oaks took care of it. I think they do that again this year. They're scoring 5.3 runs a game. They're getting hot now. This is just like last year, and they're playing the same two teams. It's flipped though, right? It was Logan Rogersville in the sectionals, and then it was Nevada in the quarterfinals. This year, it would be Nevada in the sectionals, and potentially Logan Rogersville in the quarterfinals. You were a player on that team, so talk to me a little bit about the game last year.
It was a good game. They had a good pitcher on the mound. The Blair Oaks will be facing the same pitcher. We were able to scratch some early runs with some bunts and just playing small ball. But I think over the game, we got adjusted to the timing, and some big timely hits were able to win that game. And I think Blair Oaks does the same thing, especially with that same guy that they're prepared to see. And I think Blair Oaks pitching staff depth will help them in this one.
MICDS versus Duchesne is our Class 4 game of the week. I'm really excited for this one. We got both of these teams top 10 right now. I think MICDS will take care of this one. They're scoring 6.8 runs per game. They're allowing 2.7. I mean, Duchesne, they won Class 3 last year, I believe. Is that correct? And, they got a really good chance at Class 4, but I think the Rams might spoil it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. MICDS has a pretty darn good pitching staff, and I think they're able to carry that on and move it into maybe a Final Four appearance like they had last year.
Logan Rogersville is potentially being hosted by Seneca. We don't know the locations for these sectionals yet.
Okay, so in the bracket, if you look, the top team is the home team. So
Okay.
I think it's at Seneca, I want to say.
Okay. So Misha had said like TBD the whole entire time. So
Really?
they just didn't have it in yet, and they didn't have the times in yet either. So I'll continue.
Is that next
talking
Tuesday?
as you find it? Yes, next Tuesday. So I will go with Logan Rogersville here, whether they're home or away. They're scoring 5.9 a game. They're allowing 3.2. We got them as the number one team in Class 4. So
I think it's at Seneca because I know Blair Oaks is home and they're the bottom team. So that's also a good advantage for Blair Oaks.
Okay, so what's your pick for Logan Rogersville and Seneca?
I'll be taking Logan Rogersville. I think this is a team that's turning it around the right corner. They did have a loss to Willard. They beat Willard, I should say, and that's a really good win. They've had success at the end of the season stretch against good teams, and I think they're the 1 seed for a reason.
All right, Class 5 from this past week. Warrensburg, they defeat St. Michael 9-8. West Plains over Stratford 4-3. JC, a walk-off against Fatima 3-2. Lebanon on the road, they beat Marshfield 5-3. Marquette, a really impressive win against a kind of struggling Festus team, if we're going to be honest, 7-0. And Vianney takes care of business against a tough St. Dominic team 4-2.
Yeah, that Fatima team is demonstrated they're going to be competitive, especially at the Class 3 level. They've competed at the top Class 4 teams, Class 5 teams, and I think they're one of the teams that I'm very excited to look for. Last year, they had unfortunate circumstances. They didn't make it out of districts, but I don't think that's going to be the case this year. Warrensburg got a key win over St. Michael's, a team that barely lost to a really good team in the district finals. Festus, I really don't know where to predict on how they're going to do because it's been a roller coaster ride. I thought really highly of them. They had great success last year, and now I don't know what's going on.
So we failed to mention we both went 12-6 this week.
Yep.
So we're still tied all time as well. We both are 128-67, I believe.
That is correct.
So we're going neck and neck. We're uncertain if we're going to do picks next week. We might just go ahead and end it off after these two ones and then just do like a little review next week for both videos because we'll be going into the state championship games. And so we may talk about the different scenarios. So we won't do like official picks, but we'll just kind of talk about what we could see happening at the state games down in Ozark, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
I would say if we're tied, though, we have to do at least one game. Like, we have to predict one game.
Like a playoff?
Just a playoff game.
All right, so Class 5 this week, Willard, Westminster tonight, JC, and Union tomorrow, and 24th is Saturday, correct?
I think so.
That will be Farmington and Hillsborough. That one will be at North County. They're hosting that district, and I think they actually went out in the first round. So. Willard versus West Plains. We'll start off. I'll go with our number 2 ranked Willard squad. They're scoring 9.4 runs per game. They're allowing 3.1.
Yeah, Willard's had one of the toughest schedules in Class 5, and I think they're going to make a big run. They're one of my favorites to win it all.
Westminster versus Pacific. Got to go with the Wildcats here. They're scoring 7.7 runs per game, and they're 2-0 against Pacific since 2013, so these two teams don't play very often.
I'm going to agree with you here. They're the second seed, the 2-3 matchup. I will take Westminster. I think they've had a really good season and beat some solid teams, honestly, that we both see that are pretty good wins.
Jefferson City versus Camdenton. This one should be a win for JC. I'd be a little concerned if it's not because Camdenton, sitting right now with a losing record. JC, they're scoring 8.7 runs a game. They're allowing 2.6. I think they should take care of business.
I'm going to look at kind of the opposite end. I think their pitching will get them there. I know they have two really good guys that can beat anyone at any time, so I think they're able to win this matchup.
Union versus Helias. I'm going to go with an upset here. Give me the Helias Catholic Crusaders. They're scoring 4.5 a game. Easton, they're 8-2 in their last 10.
Even though Union just beat Capital City by 10 runs, they won them 11-1. I see Helias upsetting them as well. They're one of the hottest teams in Class 5. And I was on the phone with you yesterday. This is a matchup that if Jeff City Helias faced off, I really don't know who to pick.
All right, Farmington versus Poplar Bluff. Got to go Farmington here. I like them a lot. They're number 7 in the state right now in Class 5. They barely sneaked by in the quarterfinal game against the 8 seed DeSoto because they had their SEMO commit. DeSoto had their SEMO commit on the mound. That was their one good player. I feel like there's a lot of teams like that. They've just got that one dominant pitcher, and the rest of the team just kind of stinks.
And then the record's not good, but then it's a bad draw for the good school.
Exactly. When I saw that for Farmington, I was like, ooh, I don't know. So I'm glad they got it done. I really hope they win the district. I think they get past Poplar Bluff here. They're scoring 6.8 runs a game. They're 7-4 against the Mules since 2010.
I will take Farmington. When I saw that video, they're a team that I can see doing some stuff in the postseason. They play good defense. They have some offense. And you just said they hit a good arm. So there's really few arms that they probably can't hit.
15 innings in that game.
Okay. That's a couple innings.
Yeah. So they played 2 full games and then 1 extra.
Well, me and my brother were contemplating how deep would they go in the bullpen if they played a 36-inning semifinal game, and then who would start the next game?
All right, well, the other side of the bracket is Festus versus Hillsboro, or I should say Hillsboro versus Festus because Hillsboro is the technical host. I will go with Festus here. They're having a lot of struggles on the road this year. They're 6-10 on the road. But I don't know. I mean, they're 18-4 against Hillsboro since 2010. They're scoring 5.2 this year. I don't know. I'm just not ready to give up on them yet, so I will take them over Hillsboro.
Well, I'm kind of ready to give up. I'm going to take Hillsboro. I mean, this is more of I know more about Festus instead of Hillsboro. I know the roller coaster ride they've been on. Earned the season, they're up here, and now they're somewhere on the roller coaster. I don't like. I mean, they're on the way. I'd say up because they have some wins, but it's tough to really pick them to win.
Class 6 from this past week. Fort Zumwalt West a win over Timberland 3-0. Lafayette Wildwood 11-7 against Parkway South. The first time we have ever had this on a scoreboard in E3 sports. I've been doing this since the end of August. A forfeit win, Blue Springs South over Liberty North. No clue what the instance was there. Staley, they beat Lee Summit. A little bit of revenge, 5-0. Lee Summit beat them before. Lindbergh 10-6 over Fort Zumwalt East, and a tough one. This is what we're talking about with DeSoto. That one good player. Fort Zumwalt North's got that one good player, a Mizzou commit. He had only given up, I think, Gateway Sports Venue, John Huff. He said that I'm blanking on the guy's name, but he had only given up 7 hits the whole entire season. So he's giving up a hit a game, and goes and plays the 1 seed here and almost gets it done. But Hal sneaks by 2-1.
Yeah, Hal's offense was able to scratch a couple off against a really good pitcher and just adds on for a reason to continue to pick them. Staley gets their revenge against Lee Summit after we both looked like, is that a loss that we kind of look highly? Lee Summit kind of turned on near the end. And then I was not expecting a forfeit loss, especially in Class 6. I've talked to my dad a couple times. I see it in Class 1, and some districts even had some forfeit. I was not expecting to ever see it in Class 6.
So that was regular season, though, so
okay.
Maybe that was just kind of
save arms.
Yeah, save the arms kind of thing, because they probably figured they're going to lose that one anyway, so we're going to be honest, because Blue Springs South, pretty good team. So Class 6 for this week, Staley, Kirkwood, Lindbergh, Blue Springs South, and Liberty all tonight. We got 5 of our 6 games tonight, and Fort Zumwalt West is tomorrow. We'll start off with Staley versus Park Hill. Got to go with the Staley Falcons. They're scoring 6.2 a game. They're allowing 2.4.
Yeah, Staley is the unanimous number 2 in our polls, and I expect them to take care of business.
Kirkwood versus Oakville. I'm really excited for this game. Got to go with Kirkwood here. They're scoring 5.8 a game, and they're allowing 3.
Yeah, Oakville was one of those teams that was able to beat Festus, and that was down the stretch that I really didn't know how they were. But Oakville is a really good team. I will take the flip coin, Kirkwood. You were high on them really early on, and I've kind of joined the train with it. I think I'll take them.
Lindbergh versus Jackson. I'm going Lindbergh here. The Flyers are scoring 7.2 a game, and they're allowing 3.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take Lindbergh as well. They have burned me a couple times this year, but I know it's the postseason, and they won't do that.
Blue Spring South versus Grain Valley. This one should be interesting. Grain Valley, I believe, is hosting this one. And we got them ranked. We had them around the 20-ish range, like 15 to 20 range, I think. And then Blue Spring South, we got them at number 4. So I feel like I got to go with them here. They're scoring 5.7. They're 8-2 against Grain Valley since 2015.
Well, they're able to save some pitching with the forfeit win, but that's not the reason I'm going to take them. I think they're a team that has good pitching, good hitting all around. And they're playing Grain Valley, who's a team that has the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. They've struggled early on, and they've had some wins that you're like, okay, that's a pretty darn good win. I wasn't expecting that. But then they have had some losses and laid some goose eggs.
Liberty versus Liberty North is our Class 6 game of the week. I'm excited for this one. This is a big rivalry game. Liberty North's got 7 straight against Liberty, but I think that changes this week in the playoffs. Liberty, they're scoring 6.4 a game. They're allowing 2.8. It was they played one time, I think, in the regular season, and Liberty North took care of that game at home. Now I think it's a neutral site, and so the playing field is set. And Liberty North, they're on a losing streak, and Liberty is putting some wins together. So I think the Blue Jays win.
Yeah, I saw Liberty play when they played Blair Oaks, and I saw that team, and I'm like, this is a pretty darn good team. They're able to put the ball in play, smoke balls gap to gap, and I think they're able to take down a Liberty North team that's really good.
For Zumwalt West versus North Point, this one should be interesting. I feel like we might have underrated North Point a little bit with the rankings, but I guess we'll see. Maybe they can prove it here against Fort Zumwalt West. I will go with Zumwalt West Jaguars, though. They're scoring 7.9 a game. They're allowing 3. We got them top 10. I think they're a really good team. They should make a run.
Yeah, I second that. Fort Zumwalt West, I think, who I have winning this district.
I think they're in the district Hal.
Oh, never mind. I did not have them winning that district. But I know I thought of them going far, and they're a team that already beat Hal this year, so I would never sleep on this team.
That's all you got for today. I've got Silex versus Paris tonight at Clopton. So that is a district championship game in Class 2. In all honesty, the weakest district in Class 2. No ranked teams in that one. But overall, it should be an interesting game. I'm excited to see. Paris is there on a run. Silex is the team having me out, so we'll see if they can stop that run. I'm not, I'm 50-50 on it. I won't make a pick for that one because I really don't know. I got no clue who's winning that one. So that's all you got for today. This has been Missouri Sports Talk. See you next time.